green marble crochet tutorial. For this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make a very quick, very basic pair of end of summer beach shorts. Yes, that's what we're doing. Super quick, super basic, so there's not a lot that I can say. We can definitely just get straight into making them. However, if you would like to see what they look like on, you can skip to the end of the video, where you'll see me outside in the courtyard prancing about, showing them off. So yes, just do that. If you like them, come back and we'll make them together. So yes, that's it. That's all I need to say. However, if you haven't subscribed but you would like to subscribe to join me for some more tutorials, I would love to have you join me. A big thank you to my patrons. Thank you for your support. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my videos. Yes. All relevant links to places that you can find me will be in the description below. So yes, that's it. That's all I need to say. We can definitely just get straight into making these. Alright, now to begin, we're going to have a quick look at the tiny details on the label of the yarn that we're using. So I'm going to be using 4 different colours of the same stuff, which is this Mondial Brillantina. So that's this. And if you need more time to look at anything, just pause the video. So we've got this as well. And here are the tiny relevant details. So this is what we're working with, and it's saying I should be using a 3 to a 4mm hook, which is good because I'm going to be using my 3.5 for these shorts. Alright, so I think I'm going to start with the hot pink. Yes. Alright, yes, so starting with this pink, what we're going to do is we're going to find the end of our yarn and we're going to start by making a slip knot. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take the end of the yarn between your thumb and your index finger of your right hand, so like this. Then with your index finger and your middle finger of your left hand, you're going to wind the working end around like so. Grab hold, pull through a loop, just like that. Then you're going to grab your hook and you're going to adjust it through that slip knot and pull tight. Just like that. So that's our slip knot. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain a length of 150. So to make a chain stitch, it is yarn over, pull through the loop, just like that. That's 1. Yarn over, pull through the loop. That's 2. Let's get a bit closer. And then we're going to yarn over, pull through the loop. So that's 3 chains. So I'm going to go away, chain 150, and we'll meet back up and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alright, so here I am with my chain of 150. So what we're going to do now is we're going to very carefully work our way back to the beginning of the chain. Just be really careful not to get it twisted. So we're just working our way back like this. If you get it twisted, it becomes a disaster. So definitely try not to do that. Alright, so where are we? And here we are, all the way back to the beginning. So what we're going to do is turn it like this. So the other side of the chain is facing you. You're going to stick your hook into the top part of that very first chain at the beginning. So just like this. Hang on a second. Just like this. And you're going to grab the working end of the yarn. You're going to yarn over, pull a loop through that first chain, and then pull that loop through that last chain on your hook, just like this. So now you've got a really big chain circle. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain up 2. So 1, 2, just like this. Now we're going to be putting a double crochet into every chain all the way around. So we'll do the first few together. And we're going to put our first one into that one that we've slip stitched into just there. Let me see if I can... The light's not great. Anyway, so you're going to yarn over, so double crochet, yarn over, stick your hook into that first chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's a double crochet. We'll do the next one together as well. So it's yarn over, go into that next chain along, just like that, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So there's going to be 150 of those all the way around. I'll meet you at the end. we will close the round together and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Okay, see you soon. All right, now here I am at the end of round 1. So I've got 150 double crochets into all those chains all the way around. So what we're going to do now is we're going to find that chain of 2 from the beginning just there. So there it is just there. We're going to slip stitch into the stitch at the top of that chain of 2. So that very first stitch just there, you're going to stick your hook through both parts of the V at the top of that stitch, just like this. Oh, just like that. Hang on. Just like that. Oh, this yarn, it's slightly flaky, so... Alright, there we go. So we're going to slip stitch through that, and to slip stitch, you're just going to yarn over, pull a loop through that stitch, pull that through the last stitch on your hook, just like this. So we've closed the round. Alright, so here's the top of your shorts. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 2. So chaining up 2, 1, 2, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn the work. So turning to the other side, just like this. So what do? We turned it in a clockwise direction, so just like that. And we're going to be putting double crochets back in the other direction. So this is going to be our last round of just straight double crochets, no increase. And for the next round, we're going to start increasing for the increases. So yeah. Let's just do this first. Alright, so what we're going to do is yarn over, double crochets into every stitch all the way around. But don't put your first stitch into that stitch right there beneath that chain of 2. So you've got your, just there, don't go into that one, go into the next one along, because your last stitch of the round is going to be going into the connecting stitch just there, right there at the end. So that's going to be your last stitch, the one that's beneath that chain of 2. So just through that. Alright, so we're going to go away, we're going to do our 150 double crochets. We're going to stop bumping the camera, and then we're going to meet back up, and we're going to talk about how we're going to move on to round 3 and the following rounds. Alright, see you soon. Alright, now here I am at the end of round 2, and what we're going to do is once again slip stitch into the stitch above that chain of 2 from the beginning. And this time that chain of 2 is going to look a little bit twisted, because when we chained up 2 for this round, we turned. So I don't think I mentioned that before. The reason I turn after I chain up for each round is because it stops the seam from drifting to the side. So that's why we do that. So what we're going to do now is chain up 2 and turn. We're going to begin the next round. So for round 3, we're going to start increases. And what we're going to do is, we're going to, okay, so for each round, don't put your first stitch into that one right beneath that chain of 2 just there. Go into the next one along. So just follow that pattern throughout to keep it very consistent. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put 37 double crochets across. So 1, 2, 3. So when we get to 37, we're going to meet back up and we're going to talk about what to do next. Alright, so I've put 37 double crochets across. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another double crochet into that 37th stitch. So we've got 2 stitches into that same stitch. And there's our first increase. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put 75 double crochets across. So just 1 into the next stitch, and I'll meet you once you've put 75 stitches along. And yeah, okay, we'll talk about what we're going to do then. See you soon. Okay, so here I am, and I've put 75 double crochet, can't talk. I put 75 double crochets across from that first increase that we did. So we put 2 stitches into that, 75 double crochets across, and now what we're going to do is put another double crochet into that 75th stitch just there, across from that first increase. And there's our second increase. So now what you're going to find, if you have 150 stitches like me, or you started out with that 150, you're going to have 38 stitches left till the end of the round. So I'm going to meet back up with you at the end of this round. We're going to talk about what we're going to do next. Alright, see you soon. Alright, now here we are at the end of round 3. So what we're going to do is once again slip stitch into that stitch at the top of the chain of 2 from the beginning to close the round, and then we're going to chain up 2 and turn. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting a double crochet into each stitch all the way along till you get to the first of that first lot of increases along. So that just there where those 2 stitches went into the same stitch, we're going to meet at that first of those. I'll show you what to do at that point. Alright, now then, here I am at that first stitch of that first lot of increases along. So what we're going to do into that first stitch is we're going to put 2 double crochets into the same stitch, 1 and 2, just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 double crochet into each stitch along until we get to the next lot of increases. So you're going to work your way along till you get to that next place where you put 2 stitches into the same stitch, so that one just there. We're going to work our way along to that first one. I'll meet you at that stage and we'll do it together. Okay, so here I am at the next lot of increases, so that next lot of 2 into the same stitch. So into the first of that next lot, we're going to put 2 double crochets into the same stitch, like this. And now all you're going to do is just put a double crochet into each stitch along until the end of the round. And you're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 at the beginning, or from the beginning, to close the round. You're going to chain up 2, you're going to turn. Now, for the following rounds, until you've increased to a stitch count that you're happy with. So for me, I'm going to be continuing rounds like this, because the following round is going to be exactly the same as this. You're going to, well, you're going to chain up 2, you're going to turn, double crochets to the first of the first lot of increases, so 2 into the same stitch. You're going to put 2 double crochets into that first of that first lot of increases, double crochet to the second lot of 2 into the same stitch. You're going to put 2 double crochets into the first of that second lot, then you're going to double crochet to the end of the round. You'll be doing this till you increase to a stitch count that you're happy with. Now for me, I'm going to be increasing to 188 stitches. So that means that from start to, well, from the first round to the last round, there's going to be, I think, about 21 rounds all up. And that's when I'm going to put in the crotch area, and we're going to start work on the legs. So that's how we're doing that. And yes, all right, I don't think there's much else I need to say until we reach that point. So yes, just continuing increasing it like as we've done just then, until you reach a stitch count that you're happy with. Just to let you know, alright, so for me, what I worked out was, I'm going to try and explain this as best I can. I'm sort of a little bit tired, so anyway, you don't need to know that. So, what I worked out was that for each leg, I need a stitch count, or I needed a stitch count of 108. And so for that, what I worked out was that if I get to 188 stitches all the way around on this part here, what I need to do is, for the crotch area, I'm chaining a length of 14. Because, what is it, 188? Wait a second. Hang on a second. Okay, yes, so what I worked out was that because I am increasing to a stitch count of 188 divided by 2, which is 94, so then 94 plus 14 is 108, and I want 108 stitches for each leg. So for the crotch area, we're chaining 14, and that's going to make up the difference. So you'll see what I mean when we get to it, but for now let's just focus on the increases. I'm going to increase to what we're happy with, but yes, just maybe try and work out what kind of stitch count you want for each leg, and then minus 14 from that. And okay, so yes, minus 14 from that stitch count, then double that stitch count that you ended up when you minus 14, and that's the stitch count that you're going to be increasing to now. I really hope that makes sense. Yeah, let me know if it doesn't, and I'll try and explain it a little bit better. Alright, so anyway, like I said, going to be increasing to 188. I'm going to meet you at that point. I'm going to see how it looks. you'll see that because the bits that we're increasing just here, where are we? Hang on. All right, yes. So these bits that we're increasing, and remember, you're increasing into the first of every, so you're going to have turned, you're increasing into the first of every two. The bits that we're increasing are going to start to form a V. And you're going to notice that. Anyway, I'm going to go. Let's just do these increases and we'll meet back up soon. All right, see you then. All right, now that I've increased to a stitch count of 188, what we're going to do now is we're going to, straight from our last join of our last round, we're going to chain one. We're going to find some scissors. I'm going to tilt the camera down so you can see what we're doing next. We're going to find some scissors. We're going to cut that yarn for the moment. So just cut a small piece there. You can weave that in later on. Now what we're going to do is just pull that chain through. So just pull it through so you can tie this off. And so you chained one, you cut the yarn, you pulled that chain through to tie off. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to create the crotch area. So to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to find one of the increased sections, so one of those places where you've got 2 stitches into the same stitch from that last round. And you want to make sure you're working into the side that you would normally be working into if you had chained up and turned. So you're working into that unbraided side. See, whereas there is the braided side, just here at the top of the stitch on that side, you're working into the unbraided side. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into the first of those 2 stitches into the same stitch. So you're just going to go into that first one. And remember, the part that you're going into falls to the top left-hand side of the body of that stitch. So you're just going in there, insert your hook, and put this down for a second. Because what we're going to do is we're going to grab that yarn that we just cut. We're going to make a fresh slip knot. Make a fresh slip knot with that yarn, just like so. Leave a fair tail just at the end there so that you can weave that in nicely at the end when it comes time to weave in all the loose ends, all those loose ends that I've got there. Anyway, so you stuck your hook through that first of those 2 stitches into the same stitch. I'm just going to get a bit closer. Now what you're going to do is you're going to attach that slip knot that you've just made to your hook. You're going to pull it through that stitch like so, then pull that slip knot tight just like this. Make sure you're using the working end, not the loose end. Now what you're going to do is you are going to chain 14. So chaining 14, 1, 2, 3, chaining 14. Alright, and here I am with my chain of 14. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the other side. And what we're doing is we're working into, if you went around, say if you were double crocheting around from this point where you just attached your slip knot and chained 14, if you were working your way around, what we're going to do now is we're going to insert our hook into the first of the other 2 stitches into the same stitch. But it's going to be sort of what would look like the second from this side. So just see here, we've got this, let me get a bit closer. Yeah, no. Okay, so we're working into not the mirror image of the stitch that you worked this into, but the other one. So this one just here. So it's, if you were working around like this, it would be, where are we? It would be this first one just here, but because we're working into it on the other side, it's going to be the second one along. So that one just there. What you're going to do is make sure the yarn, your working end, is to the back just there so that you're not getting tangled. And you're going to be working into that second one along just there. That next increase section, you're going to yarn over, pull through a loop, then pull that loop through the last chain on your hook. So just like this, making sure not to get those chains very tight. Don't sort of bunch those up. I don't want that to be like that, see? So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to chain that extra one again, just because you want to be able to work into them. And we're going to be working into the chain from 2 sides, and you'll see what I mean when we get to it. So just yarning over, pull a loop through, and then pull that loop through that last chain on your hook. Oh, I'm not doing well. So just like this. And there we go. Now what you're going to do is you're going to chain one, sort of pull that a little tight like that last chain that you did. You're going to find your scissors, cut the yarn again, cut a nice sort of length just there like that. You're going to pull that last chain through to tie off. So there you can see we've got 14 chains to work with for the crotch area, but we're going to put that aside for the moment, because what we're going to do is we're going to go back to where you tied off, just here, for the last round that you did. You're going to stick your hook through the first, so this is where your chain of 2 would normally have been. So you're going to stick your hook through that first stitch that you would have got. I don't think I was showing that to you just there. Let's tilt the camera back up so you can see what we're doing. I'm hopeless sometimes. Anyway, so here is the stitch you would normally be working into first. You're going to stick your hook through that. You're going to find the yarn. You're going to make a fresh slip knot. And we're going to begin working in rounds again, but we're going to be doing it for the legs. So you're going to attach that slip knot to the hook, pull it through just there, pull tight. Alright, so we've adjusted our slip knot to the hook, we've pulled it through that stitch. We're going to chain up 2, so 1, 2. We're going to put our first stitch into that stitch where we put our slip knot and our chain of 2, so that's going to be stitch number 1, double crochet. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a double crochet into every stitch. And see, we're working into the wrong side of the stitch, as we would have if, yeah, I'm not going to say it again. Anyway, put in a double crochet all the way until you get to the space where, or the stitch where, we've got our chain of 14. So that one just there. Don't go into that. Well, I'll meet you when we get to that stitch, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alright, here I am at that stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a double crochet into that stitch that we've put our slip knot and chain of 14 into. And just like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put a double crochet into each chain across this chain just here. So we don't want to get it twisted. 1 second. Alright, yes, so what we're going to do is put a double crochet into each of these chains all the way along that 14. So going into that first one, this may look a little bit twisted, but it'll be okay. I'm going to try and stick my hook into that first one just there. Oh, might be a little bit tight. Alright, no, I managed to get it through. So later on I'll just shove this through to the wrong side and weave it in later. So what we're going to do, we're putting a double crochet into that first chain, and just count as you go along the chain to make sure you've got all 14 of them. When you get to the other side, we're going to meet back up. We'll talk about how we'll move on to the rest of the leg. Alright, so here I am with those 14 double crochets across that chain. So what we're going to do now is, we're not going to work our stitch into the stitch that has the slip knot and the chain of 14. We're going to work it into the next stitch along just here. And just to keep the stitch count consistent with 108 for each leg. So that's what you're doing. You're just moving straight onto these stitches at the other side of the leg. And you're working all the way around till you get to the end of the round. And then once you get to the end of the round, where are we? Once you get here, you're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2, chain up 2 and turn. And then what you're doing is you're just completing rounds until the leg is as long as you want it to be. For me, it's going to be this round plus 2 more. So I'm going to be doing 3 rounds per leg. I will meet back up with you though for the next leg. I don't think I need to demonstrate how, I mean, you know what to do. Just, chain up 2, turn, Anyway, yes, so I will meet back up with you when it comes time to do the next leg, just because I need to show you how to put the double crochets in on the other side of that chain. So we'll do that together, and then we'll see how we go. Alright, see you soon. Okay, so I finished leg 1, and that's what that looks like. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get working on leg number 2. Now for leg number 2, obviously you're working into the unbraided side on the other side. So for the other leg, you're just going to stick your hook through. Stick it through any stitch on the side of the leg, just here on the side of the hip. And as you can see, you've got the crotch section just here. So you're just going to stick it through any of these stitches. You're going to find the yarn, make yourself, once again, a fresh slip knot like so. Attach it to the hook. Pull it through that stitch that you just adjusted your hook through, like so. Pull tight, chain up 2, 1, 2, double crochet into that same stitch that you just put your slip knot, and chain of 2 into, so just like this, and then double crochets in until you get to the crotch section. So I'm going to meet you at that point and we'll do it together. Alright, yes, see you then. Alright, now here I am at that chain of 14. So don't put your next double crochet into that stitch that holds the chain of 14 and the slip knot, because as you can see on the other side, we didn't go into that stitch when we left the chain of 14 on that side. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to put 14 double crochets across the other side of the chain. So you'll pretty easily be able to see where you need to put your stitch. So you just yarn over and you can see you've got a stitch 1 just there. So you're going in underneath that on the other side with a double crochet. And then moving on to the next one along. So just there. Let's try and get a bit closer. So as you can see, there's the next one along. You're just going to go on the other side of that chain and just into there. Double crochet. So you're going to do that all the way along. Count if you're not sure, just to make sure you've got the right amount of stitches. So it's going to be 14 of these across. Once you get to the other side, just move. Okay, no. I'm going to meet you at the end of this chain of 14 because, yeah, all right, I'll see you at the end. All right, so here I am with those 14 double crochets across the other side of that chain. So now on the other, well, down the end here, you are going to go into that stitch where you put the slip knot and chain of 14, just because you did that on the other side. So to keep it consistent all the way across, we're going to go into that again, and also to keep the stitch count right so that you have that 108 stitches all the way around the leg, if that's what your stitch count is. So yes, now all you're doing is putting in a stitch all the way to the end of the round. Once you get to the end of the round, you're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 from the beginning to close the round. Chain up 2, turn, double crochets back in the other direction till you get to the end of the round. Slip stitch, and you know where to go from there. So that's it. Not sure if we need to meet up again. So what I'm going to do is, because these shorts are slightly baggy, I've done them so that they've got a sort of slightly baggy feel. I'm going to make a drawstring to thread through the second round at the top, just to keep them up, you know. So that's what I'm going to be doing. All I'm going to be doing for that is, I think I'm going to use the green to contrast, maybe blue, no, green, to contrast nicely with that hot pink. I'm going to make that, and I'm just going to cut 3 very long strands of that and braid them together, tie them at the ends, and that's it, and just weave it through. You'll see at the end, because now all we need to do is we need to finish our shorts. We need to finish our shorts, and at the end, we're going to try on our shorts. We're going to see how they look. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So yeah, you'll see me wearing them out in the courtyard, so I can demonstrate what they look like on, and I'll show you what the drawstring looks like at that point. But that's it. I mean, we're done. Aside from that, there's nothing left for us to do here till the next tutorial. And that's it. Alright, well, thanks for sticking around. I hope you've made yourself some lovely shorts. Can't wait to see you at the end when we, like I said, try on our shorts and see how they look. Alright, see you then. Alrighty, so here are the finished shorts. Yes. So yes, as you can see, super quick, super easy to make. Not a lot goes into them. Yeah, I just wanted something really, really simple and really basic for the end of the summer, because it's still quite warm here, so I might still be wearing these out in public, not sure. So yes, that's it. That's all there is to it. We're done. yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you've made yourself some lovely shorts. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. And yeah, that's it. That's all I need to say. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.